superconscious and our subconscious and our consciousness works. And the thing about it is the relationship that we have with our subconscious and our consciousness. Our consciousness is that which creates the cause. Okay, cause and effect. Consciousness creates the cause, and the effect happens in the subconscious. And the effect is whatever you impress upon the subconscious. And we look at it through, or a way of looking at it is through the lens of a husband and wife. And you are in the relationship, and the subconscious is like the wife that opens to that which it is given and then reflects back that which it receives. So if we look in our life, we look at that and we look at our reflection in our life and we're not liking what we're getting back, what are we impregnating our subconscious with? Are we being loving and kind? Are we in the higher frequency? Or are we in our negative old beliefs and self-talk of ways of being? See, if something's happening in our life and we do dislike something and we're getting frustrated with it or we get emotional with it, you've got to remember the feelings are the language in which the subconscious receives. So if you have someone say something and you get a negative feelings come up, negative emotions come up, and you say that's wrong and they shouldn't do that, and you're quite emotional about it or quite an intensity about it, you are impressing that onto your subconscious mind. You are impregnating them with that belief and that reality. And so your subconscious mind goes, whoa, rightio, that's the seed that you are planting me with. I shall go and manufacture and create that for your reality because it loves you so much. And the thing that we look at is the subconscious doesn't judge, it'll create whatever you impress upon it. So anywhere in our lives that we get frustrated or we find things aren't working, we are impregnating ourselves through our conscious mind, we are impregnating our subconscious with that which we do not like. And I look at this and I look at it from on a global point of view, and you look at if you get all emotional about the politics or this or that, blah, 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 you are impregnating that onto your subconscious for that to become more in your reality. And so then you go, oh, geez, if I'm seeing doom and gloom in the world and I think it's really bad and they shouldn't be doing it, what am I going to see more in my life of? Doom and gloom and things that people shouldn't be doing. So you create a world of that. And you go, oh, God, so how do I change it? And this is where we look at our way of being. So for you to have that emotion, for you to have that pushback on whatever thought or whatever's coming, you must recognize that you are being a certain way in your consciousness. Now, when I say being, your conscious awareness is looking through a certain lens and expressing itself through that feeling tone. And I'll give you an example of this. Last night I was talking to this lady and she said to me she has a fear of dogs. And I went, oh yeah, and I tuned into her and I said, oh yeah, okay, cool. And she goes, oh, they're all right if they're on a lead and things like this. And I went, yeah. I said, oh yeah, maybe in a past life you were, it's interesting because the energy coming through is you were mauled by a dog. And she went into total fear and total shock. And she went, oh yeah, that sounds so right. And she went spiraling off down this way. And I said to her, wow, did you notice your great reaction there in your fear? And she goes, oh yeah, I feel all anxious, I'm overwhelmed. And she went into all this stuff. And I said, that's pretty cool. But did you also realize, because I forgot to tell you, that you were a dog trainer and you had one of those big puffy suits on. And it was your job to train the dog, so you had to get it to maul you so that you could train it to take people down. And she totally flipped on a dime. Her whole meaning changed. And then she goes, oh, that's good because I'm training the dogs and I'm blah, 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 blah. And she totally spun. Where do you guys do that in your life? All we did is change the meaning of being mauled by a dog. And I says, in the consciousness, when you look at that, when you flick the meaning in who you're being, so in one part of that, she was being a victim, being mauled by a dog, being attacked by a dog. The other person, she was this powerful creator training this dog to be able to get criminals and bad people. Two, same sort of scenario, two completely different responses, two completely different frequencies. And she was who she was, thought she was being in either one. And so in any situation that you look at, and if you find yourself getting into your little pirates up there, your little parrot on your shoulder and the pirate's going, and you're getting all grouchy, who are you being in that moment? Are you being a victim? Are you being self-righteous? Are you being in the mode of not allowing yourself to receive information? Are you being controlling? And you look at it and you go, oh, where am I being that I have to do it myself? And so you fight against everything else. Oh, I'm being isolated. Oh, I'm being not enough. I don't belong. I'm being the vibration of not belonging. And you're fighting and wrestling with it. And then if you just shift the meaning and you actually recognize, so if you can see that that's who you're being, the way to resolve it, the way to transcend it, is to recognize, is to have conscious awareness that that is how you are being. When you have conscious awareness of that's who you have been being, you then ask for forgiveness on yourself. When you ask for forgiveness on yourself, you can then shut the door on that old way of being. And then you can claim that which you like. And then that's where you put your focus on, well, hold on, what do I want to be? And it was interesting because in that lady, she went from being a victim to claiming that she was a great teacher, helping training these dogs to do good. And it's spun on a dime. And so what we do here, and why I'm sharing this, is you must become very disciplined in being aware on the conscious thought that you are having, especially when there's emotions with it, because those emotions are being impressed upon your subconscious mind. They are the seeds that you are planting. When you recognize this, you then begin to start creating the choices that you want. Because until you can forgive yourself for being a judgmental, self-righteous little blah, 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 then until you can forgive yourself of that, then you cannot change into the higher frequency. Forgiveness must happen, but the forgiveness must happen. You get it through conscious awareness of who you've been being. And this isn't about beating yourself up. When you have conscious awareness of who you're being, you are the I am looking at who you thought you were in the I am. You were being a certain flavor in the I am. Out of infinite possibilities, you had chosen to be one certain frequency, and you were being the expression of that. When you unravel that, when you recognize that and you forgive yourself for that, and what I mean by forgive yourself, you just go into loving kindness with that. It opens up and it helps you unravel. And this is a little deeper meaning of what happens and what you're doing in your orientations. When we understand this at a deeper level, when we see why we're doing, we go, ah, crap, now I understand why it's so important for me to be focusing on my orientations, because I'm recognizing who I'm being. So when I'm being, I choose the end result of loving kindness or living a life I love. Who am I being in that end result? And the other little key distinction that I want you guys to give to you guys today is the importance that it's the I am this, not I will get this, or I'll have this, or I want this. When you impress I want this or this is coming onto the subconscious, it's through the energy that it is not here now. Yet when you impress it that I am this and I am that frequency of this, so that's why we go into the orientation and we choose the end result and we look through the eyes and in our imagination, because our imagination is our conscious awareness, which is God. Oh, God, it's all the same bloody thing. God. When we step into it in there and we do it from that frequency of being that, and then we are impressing that onto our subconscious, we then begin to see that reality. So the thing is, as you do that, and you're stepping into the power of that, you get to notice everything that begins to unravel. And it's just like a slinky, it'll just sort of just all starts coming out. And all your old resistances and all the old ways of being that you thought that you were, that you did not, that you were unconscious because you did not know this, because you weren't consciously aware of who you were being, because you were asleep. And this isn't bad, this is just who we are. And it's interesting because I was listening to some stuff on the weekend and it says there is two of us, there is duality in our lives. And the one that comes to us second will rule over the one that comes to first. The one that comes to us first is our egoic self. That's who we think we are as a person. But then as we awaken in our consciousness and become more aware, that is the awakening of the second. When we realize we are the second, we are the conscious awareness, we are the divineness in ourselves, we then begin to take over and live from that place. And when what we know internally, who we are being, is what we get on the outside. So we recognize that and we go, oh, okay, cool. Life's pretty crazy. We have the duality. And it is just the letting go of the one that was in the house first, the ego itself and the identity. And this is why the orientation work is so important, to put you in that higher frequency so that you recognize who you're being. Because if you can't be in the frequency of living a life you love, then where are you? And isn't it interesting? You think about it, how easy it is to go negative on something. Because you remember, and I was talking to someone the other day about this, how did you ever notice, and you guys all know this, that anger, grief, sadness, guilt, judgment, criticism, they don't wait to be invited into your house. They come barging in. They are uninvited guests that come in and live in your house. Yet if you're wanting to feel joyful, if you're wanting to be in that higher level of awareness of being a certain way, it doesn't come barging in. You must invite it in. And if we look at it through the lens of love and hate, you must invite love in. Hate comes flying in. Yet if you approached your results in life going for things and loving them, you love them to death. You will find just as much as when you hate something, you can go, hey, think about it, how negative and dark you can go, how fast you can go that way. Imagine how fast we can destroy things through our hatred. If we put the same energy or the same focus on our love, we will create at the same speed in love and going in the other direction. But it's just that we became so addicted to the old way of behavior. And all of it is a conscious awareness, it's just being. It's just being aware of it. And the way you do it is you forgive. You forgive yourself for having done it because you were asleep. You did not know. And so you're asking for forgiveness of the I am in yourself, and away it goes. So let's get back into orientations. Let's just let that rattle around in your noggin for how you approach your day. And at any situation, if you find you have a squatter come running in your house, or an uninvited guest, like you're talking to someone and they say something and you all of a sudden feel angry, or you feel judgmental or criticizing or critical of yourself or of something else, you've just had an uninvited guest come running in. Just have awareness that that's come running in. And then say, well, no, I invite love in here. I invite joy in here. And you bring your orientation back to living the life you love. And it's a simple bringing yourself back. And it's awareness of who you are being. When you were negativity during your day, you fell asleep. Your bouncer went and had his lunch break, and they came running in through the door while you weren't watching. So you don't beat the bouncer up. You say, oi, you, out. And you chase them out by just filling the room with love, filling it with light, being in awareness. Oh, that's an old behavior of mine. Oh, that's an old distraction of mine. Oh, that's an old procrastination of mine. I wasn't at home. I wasn't being present. I wasn't being full of myself, full of light in myself. I wasn't being that which I desire. And I allowed these negativity things to come into mind. And you just will recognize, but by being aware of it, you recognize it, and then you can then impress on your end result, because you go back into your orientation of your choice, and then you just choose, and away you go. So if you got some great information out of that and found it helpful and would like to know more, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you get my latest content that comes up on a weekly basis. And also, if you would like to join the membership and come and see in full what's going on there, then click in the descriptions, Conscious Creating Mastery 7-day free trial, and come and experience for absolutely free for the 7 days what we actually get up to on the calls each and every day, and go into the library and look at some of the healings and meditations that are in there. If this interests you, I look forward to seeing you soon. Blessings.